I'm going to ask for a disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. Councillor Watton?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I have a disclosure for...
Is your microphone on?
I'm not sure what one of the items that was that... Just a minute. Let me turn around and get my mind back here. I have a declare pecuniary interest in one of the items with respect to land that was discussed in closed session. I'm not sure of the item number, but I'll declare.
And the nature?
I'm related to the owner.
Okay, thank you. And that will be the first item that's brought forward. Any others? Okay, that's carried. Sorry? Councillor Keith, yes, I'm going to call on matters from closed session. Oh, Councillor Keith, you have a disclosure to begin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm declaring pecuniary interest for the tourism presentation because I was formerly on the board.
Oh. Okay, thank you. Now, matters from closed session, and I'll call on Councillor Kiesebrink to make a motion. Go ahead. And Councillor Watton, this first item that's coming up is yours, and just for the knowledge of the people in the gallery, Councillor Watton left the room when this was being discussed. Councillor Kiesebrink.
Yes, we'd like to we want to move that the lot adjacent to Part Lot 3, Concession 9, Part 1, Island Road and Stevenson's Point Road be declared surplus to the township's needs, and that the owner of the adjacent land be requested to provide a reference plan of the subject property, and upon reviewing the reference plan, staff proceed with obtaining an appraisal for the land, and then report back to council for approval of the sale price.
Seconder? Councillor Guido. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Go ahead.
We'd like to make move that a portion of the land adjacent to 150 Emerson Lane, described as Part 1 road allowance between Concession 9 and Concession 10, and Part 3 Lot 17, Concession 10 on the draft reference plan, appended as Attachment 1, be declared surplus to the township's needs, and staff be directed to proceed with the process for stopping up and closing the road allowance and obtaining an appraisal for the property, and then report back to council for approval of the sale price, and that the site triangle at the front of the property at 574 Victoria Street be declared surplus to the township's needs, and staff be directed to obtain a reference plan and formal offer to purchase from the lawyer acting on behalf of the property owner of 574 Victoria Street, and upon receiving the we're cut off. There we go. The reference plan and offer to purchase, that staff obtain an appraisal for the lands and then report back to council for approval of the sale price. And that the road allowance known as Demer Lane, Simcoe Street, and Coates Road be declared surplus to the township's needs, and that the adjacent property owners be requested to purchase a reference plan to the township that divides the property into 3 parcels, and staff proceed with obtaining an appraisal for the land, and then report back to council for approval of the sale price, and staff be directed to proceed with the process for stopping up and closing the road allowance described as Part Lot 18, Concession 1, reach, and then back to council for approval of the transfer. And that the triangle slice of land adjacent to 16 Coolcliff Boulevard be declared surplus to the township's needs, and that the owner of the adjacent property be requested to provide a reference plan of the subject property, and upon receiving the reference plan, staff proceed with obtaining an appraisal for the land and report back to council for the approval of the sale price.
That is? Okay. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor McDougall. Questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Are there any announcements from council? Councillor Watton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to remind everyone about the Durham Transit Public Info Session being held on Wednesday evening at Foss from 6 till 8. And also, I'd like to remind everyone about the upcoming Rotary Gala being held on May 4th at the Royal Ashburn. Tickets are $125 per person. All proceeds will be going to the hospice. So if you're interested in attending, or if you'd like to buy, they also have tickets for sale for a lottery, or they're looking for silent auction items, and they would be thankful for any of your support in any of those areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Brown.
Through you, Madam Mayor, just a note that the off-leash dog park public meeting is at the library at 6:30 on Tuesday evening. We've had a lot of people comment on it. I think there are a lot of people who have thoughts pro, some con, but you're welcome to attend again. It's at the library at 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday. And also, 50 years of the Port Perry Tennis Club are going to be celebrated with an open house, and that's on Saturday, May 4th, also at 11 o'clock, and it concludes around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you. Councillor Keisebring.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As reported by the Presbyterian Church, there's a Good Friday walk coming up, and this is organized annually, and it's by all the local churches of Port Perry. It's the Stations of the Cross, and it starts at 9:30 in the morning at the gazebo at Palmer Park and finishes at the Port Perry United Church, where they serve refreshments. So everyone is welcome to participate.
Thank you, Councillor Keisebring. Anything further? Councillor McDougall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to make a mention that the Easter Bonnet contest is coming up this weekend. It's on April the 21st, and it's Queen Street, downtown Port Perry, so I look forward to seeing everybody out there. I'm not sure exactly I think there's a handsome man and a loveliest lady, and I know there's one for dogs and grandkids and everybody, so I look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you.
And it's followed by the Easter egg hunt right afterwards. Councillor Guido, did I see your hand? Nope? Okay. Thank you. Any announcements from staff? Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Are there minutes? No, there's no minutes. No, okay. We have another motion from the in-camera session. And I'm looking for a mover for the advisory committee appointment for the Grants Advisory and the Port Perry Farmers Market Management Committee. Councillor Watton, do you want to make that motion? Sure. You got it? No.
Just that Catherine Whittle be appointed to the Scugog Grants Advisory Committee, and that Councillor Ross be appointed as the council representative to the Port Perry Farmers Market Management Committee, and that any remaining vacancies continue to be advertised for recruitment.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Guido, questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to no public meetings, presentations, and delegations. I would like to call up our two Mayor's Honor Roll recipients, and first of all, I'd like to call up Mark Fletcher. Mark Fletcher has always been a friend to the Port Perry Hospital Foundation. As a funeral director with Wags Funeral Home, he often worked with the foundation when families wished to have donations made to the Hospital Foundation following the passing of a loved one. In 2012, Mark was invited to join the Foundation Board of Directors. It seemed a good fit, and it was. As part of the Board of Directors, Mark was involved in the vitally important and very successful $3.5 million Your Hospital, Your Future campaign to update patient rooms and other patient areas. From 2015 to 2017, Mark served as Vice President of the Foundation, and in June 2017 was elected to the office of President of the Board for the Foundation. Any thought that holding this position would be smooth went up in smoke with the hospital fire on August the 25th, 2017. Mark went into high gear, leading the Foundation in decisions and messaging to donors. The message that the recently completed patient area renovations made possible with donor support were safe and sound. that the hospital would reopen and that the foundation still needed the community's support for updates and equipment not covered by insurance. His message was heard, and the community continued to support well. Mark helped lead the charge to open a storefront foundation office on Queen Street while the hospital was closed, as a place where folks could pop in and ask questions and, of course, make a donation. Mark has also, over the past year, encouraged fellow shopkeepers on Queen Street to do something for the hospital. Harrington's wildly successful For Goodness Steak campaign, which is on again now, last spring likely started with a conversation over the countertop and is just one example. Mark brings passion to his role as foundation president. In short, he is a tremendous advocate for the hospital and what it brings to the community. He has put countless hours into his role as president through what has been a year of tremendous transition. Mark is also a member of the Pine Grove Cemetery Board, has assisted with fundraising initiatives for Stonemoor Daycare, Where We Grow, and the Port Perry High School Music Department. Thank you, Mark, for all you do in the community. Mark was not able to make it to the Mayor's Honor Roll at the Mayor's Levy, and so he's here tonight to accept our thanks, and thank you for your support.
Very nice, thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And now I'd like to call up Neil Simpson. Neil Simpson was also not able to attend the Mayor's Honor Roll. He was enjoying the sunny south. And he is here now to accept his award and our thanks. Neil Simpson is a 16-year resident of Canterbury Common in Port Perry and a former Durham School principal for over 30 years. Neil's energy, enthusiasm, dedication, and imaginative approach to fundraising for different charitable causes is a classic example of someone always thinking about and helping others. In 2004, Neil jumped right in and organized a team of Canterbury Common seniors to enter the Port Perry Dragon Boat Festival. The race is to raise money for the cause of fighting breast cancer. Once formed, the average age of the 21 team paddlers and drummer was approaching 70. Neil's enthusiasm and leadership led to what became a 10-year team participation in the festival, raising a total of $126,000 for this worthy cause. 2018 witnessed the 20th anniversary of the formation of the Port Perry community known as Canterbury Common. Various community events throughout the year were planned to celebrate this milestone, organized by Neil with a team of willing supporters. It was Neil's idea that these community events could and should also serve another purpose. That second purpose was to also mark the occasion by incorporating various fundraising initiatives to assist the Oak Ridges Hospice. The objective was to raise $20,000. Under Neil's guidance, along with a team of eager and willing supporters who could never say no to Neil when he calls on them, ended up raising an impressive total of $66,000 for the Oak Ridges Hospice. Never one to rest, when Neil departs Port Perry for time in Florida, he immediately starts organizing fundraising initiatives. Over the years, he and willing supporters have raised many thousands of dollars to a variety of cancer-related causes. Neil is a tremendous role model for young and old alike and is a most deserving recipient of this recognition. Neil, congratulations and our thank you.
Thank you.
So can we have the two recipients, Mark, come on up, and all of council, will you come up and join us for a photo op?
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, well deserved.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You know.
We appreciate you too.
It's kind of neat that we go back so far.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks, Lance, I appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations to you too. I hope we don't need your services soon. Thanks for that. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, snuggle up.
Don't need that anymore?
If you snuggle up, I'll look then.
We're supposed to hold these out?
Yeah, hold them up and
There we go. Move right in here.
can cut me out.
You gotta be right in there, there you go.
Whoa!
Cute.
Yeah, you like that? Thanks a lot.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thanks, Wilma.
Thank you.
Are you Harry's daughter-in-law?
I am.
And you're his principal. Yeah. How long? Enjoyable. Say hi to him. No, he absolutely.
I'd now like to call on Mr. Chuck Tebow, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and Eleanor Cook from Central Counties Tourism, along with Kristen Chambers from Durham Tourism, Region of Durham, to come forward, and you have 15 minutes or so to make a presentation, so welcome.
In under 10.
Well, and that's good too. Thank you and welcome.
About hockey game too?
I got too much years of my kids' hockey to worry about other stuff. Is the presentation loaded? Do I need to do something? There we go.
There we go.
And I can control it from here?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for letting us be here today. We thought what we would do at Central Counties is, after the election in October, is we'd spend some time with each of the municipal councils, once they've got their feet wet, to talk about the importance of tourism as an economic driver in the communities. So today, you're stuck with me. My name is Chuck. I'm the Executive Director of Central Counties Tourism. We're the provincially funded not-for-profit that's dedicated to developing, supporting, and promoting the tourism assets of Durham Region, York Region, and Headwaters Region. And with me tonight is Kristen Chambers, who's the Tourism Coordinator at Durham Region.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. This was a last-minute addition for me, and unfortunately our Manager of Tourism, Brandon Pickard, has fallen ill today, so I was coming this evening as a dedicated Scugog resident, and Chuck asked me to join him, so I'm here. So thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Yes. So our timing might not be as good as Brandon and mine, but we'll do just fine. So the first thing we really wanted to do is define what a tourist is, and this is the biggest hurdle. The word tourist in most municipalities gets people thinking about someone who looks like me but's wearing a Tilly hat and a Hawaiian shirt and a camera sticking off their chest with socks and Birkenstocks getting off of a bus somewhere, and that is not really what tourism's about in Central Counties and in Durham. It really is about people who don't consider themselves to be tourists, who are just out visiting and have picked up and decided to go somewhere. Very recently, right when I was interviewing for this position, 6-7 years ago now, we said to the kids, hey, we're going to go and explore the region. And the night before, we had seen You Gotta Eat Here, and of course, Hagen's was on it. We're saying, well, there's our end destination. We live in Georgetown. All right, so that day, we spent the whole day traveling around and spending our hard-earned money at these different places. The easiest way to define what a tourist is, it's someone who doesn't live in your community or work in your community, who's spending their money in your community. And once again, I never considered myself to be a tourist while I was here, but I was, because I was visiting from outside of the region, and I had driven 100-plus kilometers, and I was spending my money in your communities, which is new money coming in. Tourism in Durham by the numbers, and this is from the 2016 StatsCan data, and it's big and it's hard to visualize, but it's 4.1 million visitors coming through in a year, spending $301 million with the thousands of tourism businesses employing tens of thousands of tax-paying residents, who then take their income and then spend money at the grocery store and the hairdressers and at the who knows, or wherever they're going to spend their money. In reality, when you take it and you look at it in a microcosm, The difference between having 10 extra people through your door for a small business a week because they're visiting friends or they're stopping through can be the difference between staying open year-round and having to close for the winter, because that's when your low periods are. As you know, on top of this job, I am a partner in two small family entertainment centers, one in Brampton and one in Mississauga. And knowing what we know about tourism, we keep track of who's coming through the doors. And almost 15% of the people that visit our locations are not from Mississauga and not from Brampton. And to us, what that means is if they weren't here, if they weren't coming, if we weren't attracting them, we'd only be making 85% of the revenue we're making now. And that means a lot. In the patio project that you guys did this summer, we helped with the surveying, and over 20% of the people who were visiting on those patios said that they were not from Scugog. They were coming from further away, 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers plus. 20% of someone's revenue is a lot of money. So tourism's already happening here. When you look at embracing tourism in your community, and I'm looking around at the people here, and I've met quite a few of you because you're already very active, which is fantastic. What tourism does, it attracts new businesses. If there is already something going on, there's a critical mass, people understand that, and they will invest their money to come here. It attracts new residents. No one wakes up in Windsor on a Saturday morning and says, I'm going to Port Perry. What they're going to do is hear about the Rib Fest, or hear about the fishing derby, or hear about something else, and determine, wow, I got to get there. And when they get here, then they realize how awesome it is, and sometimes make a decision that they want to move here. When we did the Thomas the Tank Engine partnership with York Durham Heritage Railway in Uxbridge, we had a bunch of volunteers doing the surveys to find out where people were coming from, and afterwards we did a debrief. And quite a few of the volunteers, they said one of the weirdest questions in their mind that they got was, where's the nearest real estate office? And the reason for that is people went there and went, man, I never knew this place existed. This is fantastic. And we're looking. There was someone had said in one of our tourism summits once that the people who make the most money in tourism are actually lawyers because of property transactions, right? Actually, be the real estate agents followed by the lawyers, depending on who's getting the bigger cut. Other great things in tourism is it helps to retain and grow your current businesses. If your businesses are booming, they will reinvest in what they're doing. They will continue to get bigger and better and stronger. And I think it was in this community when we were doing, early on, we were doing a Community Tourism Now session. Someone came up to me afterwards and he said, I get it. I said, what do you mean you get it? And he said, I get how tourism affects me. He goes, I'm a dry cleaner. And I now get what you're saying. If there are 10 more people coming through the door that needs an extra wait staff at this restaurant, they're going to launder their clothes with me. So I'm in the chain. I said, you did get it. I shed a manly tear for that. And overall, it becomes a vibrant place to live, work, and visit. And when a town is bustling and people are going ooh and ah about all the great things there are to see and do, it resonates through that community. And people who are sometimes, it's too busy, start to take pride in where they live and why they live there. It's a really good thing. I'm going to quickly go through this. This is basically to talk about the funnel that tourism is. We don't own anything. Central Counties doesn't own any of the assets here. Neither does Durham Region. Tourism starts with the municipal assets and the businesses that help support the tourism economy. And then that's supported at the local level by Lori and the great staff team here who help tell the story to the local community and just outside the community. Reasons like your announcements today, keep the community engaged with all the great things that are happening. And then at Durham Tourism, we take, some of those great, your Canada Day celebration, which is becoming more and more well-known, and we push that, trying to get people to come from outside, celebrate with you. And then Central Counties takes that and spreads it through the province, and then we work through Destination Ontario, which is at the Ministry of Tourism level. They just keep pushing and amplifying that message and that support all the way through. But at the end of the day, it starts with what you have. And in my mind, what you have is unique to this province, a historic downtown on the waterfront. That's a good story to tell, and we love helping you tell it. This is really the nuts and bolts of the presentation. It's all the different resources that you can take advantage of and you have going on here. And I know you've just gone through the new branding presentation that Lori did, so you're already pretty up to speed on what's happening within your community. And then at Durham Tourism, I'm going to let
Yes.
a word in edgewise. I'm sorry, I talk too much.
So on Durham Tourism, just recently, over the course of the last year, had revamped our pages on the region's website as well, so that we have a more engaging site right now. We have a page on the website that's specifically dedicated to Scugog, so of course it can change with the seasons and with initiatives that you have taking place. Our event calendar, just to give you a quick update on an initiative that we're working on with that. Right now, I believe 5 out of 8 of the municipalities in Durham Region use eSolutions for their event calendars. Uxbridge and Scugog use Central Counties, and Brock, I'm not certain what platform they use right now, but we're working on setting up a platform so that your event organizer only has to go on to one website, enter that event once, and it'll filter up through all the sites. So they enter on the municipality site, it goes up to Durham Tourism, up to Central Counties, and up to Destination Ontario. So we hope that that will make things a lot easier for your event organizers. Of course, along the way, there will be different levels of approvals as to what each organization will promote, but that's something that will be coming down the pipe soon. Our Discovery Guide this year has taken a new turn. In previous years, we had always sold advertisements, sold business listings, sold events listings, and we've moved away from that this year. We, in the past, had been charging each municipality for a full-page ad and some content from them, and we've stepped away from collecting revenue for the Discovery Guide altogether. This year, it is just a lure piece, more like a coffee table type brochure. There's no more listings. We feel people are moving towards Google and whatnot. There's no need for a directory. So we have been working with lots of influencers and bloggers, writing stories about the area and about our little niches within Durham. So you'll see that come out within the next couple of weeks, and hopefully everyone will like that. Our Durham Tourism Municipal Leadership Team, this is a team that is comprised of a member from each one of our area municipalities that handles tourism as part of their portfolio. And we meet 4 times throughout the year as a team, with several emails flying back and forth throughout the year on different topics as well. And of course, we're blessed to have Lori as part of our team for that. And that's all I'm at.
Perfect. And then at Central Counties, we do a lot of the community tourism planning and save the municipality the cost of bringing in a consultant, both for the community tourism and wayfinding, and Scugog's taken advantage of both of those, which is great. We offer a lot of courses, webinars, and workshops for business operators. A lot of them, because of who the tourist is here, they don't understand that they are in the tourism business, and making some small changes can actually elevate an entire destination. When restaurants think they're only dealing with locals, the restaurant across the street from you is your competition. But when you start to think about it in terms of a destination, if the 4 or 5 great restaurants you have on that street working together make you an eating destination, people will travel from further away to come in. We do municipal tourism websites, which once again you've taken advantage of, and we help pay for that, so it offsets some of the cost. And then together, jointly, we work together on sports tourism and business tourism, bidding and support. We do some leverage marketing, we bring in fam tours, and we do leverage tourism investment. And that's the final message is tourism spending, it's an investment, not an expense. It comes with great ROI for your community, both from a revenue standpoint to your businesses and for a lifestyle. And that's it. I hope we stayed under our 10 minutes.
I wasn't counting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, so I wasn't counting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Your enthusiasm is just, it's catchy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? No, well, thank you very much for your presentation.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Both of you, and thanks for pinch hitting Kristen.
She did a great job, too.
Yeah, I know, she always has.
Thank
And
you
Lori,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please, that the delegation by, I've got to change the names there, by Mr. Chuck Thibault and Kristen Chambers, from tourism as economic driver in the region be received. Councillor Ross, Councillor Guido, questions or comments? All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you again. We have one report page 4 of your agenda, and it's for the custodial services for the township. Good news here, saving $23,000 by amalgamating all of the services, all of the locations together. May I have a motion, please, or, yeah, may I have a motion, please? Councillor Watton? Councillor Guido? Any questions or comments? Did you want to highlight anything, Director?
No, Madam Mayor, thank you. I'll respond to any questions that council
Okay,
may have.
thank you. Questions? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor, and I guess this would be a question for the Director then. I've been talked to by the people at the Latcham Center about and I know this is not necessarily connected, but it's about the custodial work at the Latcham Center. Now, I'm doing this because I want to bring it up at some point, so I'm bringing it up now. But they're upset. They told me that themselves, at the conditions of the washrooms at the Latcham Center. So I don't know whether this there's a thread in here somewhere that we can connect this, but if not, we can leave it for a further conversation. But I did want to make some public note of the conversation that we had and the fact that they do not like the way that the washrooms are kept at the Latcham Center.
Thank you for bringing that forward. Any other questions or comments? You want to comment on that, or take that for information?
That's something that we can certainly look into. This current bid that's before council does not include the cleaning services for the Latcham Center.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor of the recommendation? And that's carried, thank you. There's no correspondence, no new business or general information within the agenda package tonight. No reason to go back into closed session, so I'm now looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Guido, Councillor Kieserbrink, questions or comments? All those in favor? Thank you, enjoy the game.